Are you ready to unlock the wisdom of Proverbs? In this video, we will perform a verse-by-verse analysis of Proverbs 1, verses 1 through 9 of the King James Version of the Bible. Before we start, I'd like to provide a brief overview of the book of Proverbs. The book of Proverbs offers insights and wisdom for living. It serves as a guidance tool for moral teachings, intended to aid individuals in making prudent life choices. Proverbs is a compilation of biblical wisdom, moral teachings, and practical advice for living. Many proverbs are addressed to young men as a means of passing wisdom from fathers to sons. This stems from Israel's patriarchal culture, with sons inheriting the roles of leadership over family and nation. In order to prepare these young men for manhood, fathers warned their sons about the traps that commonly ensnare young men: sexual temptation, foolishness, ill-gotten gain, verbal abuse, strong drink and pride. Of course, women aren't immune to these pitfalls, so everyone can benefit from these sayings. The Proverbs of Solomon the son of David, king of Israel. The first verse of Proverbs 1 is an introduction to the author and his authority. King Solomon, who is said to have been known for his wisdom and was considered one of Israel's greatest kings. As the son of David, Solomon was both a political and spiritual leader, and his wisdom was seen as divinely inspired. King Solomon is attributed as the author of Proverbs 1 through 29. To know wisdom and instruction, to perceive the words of understanding. This verse reveals the purpose of the Proverbs: to impart wisdom, which is knowledge applied to make good decisions, and instruction, meaning disciplined guidance on how to live well. Perceiving words of understanding means developing the ability to discern truth about life and human nature, deepening one's insight beyond surface-level knowledge. To receive the instruction of wisdom, justice, and judgment, and equity. The third verse defines the scope of instruction included in Proverbs and outlines the value of following the teachings in Proverbs. Wisdom is practical insight for living wisely. It refers to the ability to discern what is true, right, or lasting. It involves practical living and ethical decision-making. Justice is fairness and righteousness in dealing with others. Justice also applies to the impartial application of laws and principles. Justice ensures that individuals and communities act ethically towards one another. Judgment is the ability to make sound, ethical decisions. It's the capacity to make considered decisions or come to sensible conclusions. It involves evaluating situations wisely and fairly. And finally, equity, which is the fair and just treatment and impartiality. To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Verse 4 of Proverbs 1 explains that the intent of Proverbs is to provide wisdom for the inexperienced. Subtlety is often translated as subtlety, which means the ability. This refers to insight, discernment, or the ability to perceive and understand deeper, more complex matters. It is not just about intellectual knowledge, but about the ability to navigate life with wisdom, prudence, and careful discernment, a kind of subtle, refined understanding. Simple represents those who are inexperienced, easily influenced, or lacking in discernment. Such people are easily influenced, naive, or lacking in wisdom. They might be inexperienced or lack the understanding necessary to make wise decisions. The term doesn't necessarily imply ignorance, but more a lack of depth in practical wisdom or discernment, and may not yet have the depth of understanding or skill to navigate life's complexities. A wise man will hear, and will increase learning, and a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels. Proverbs 1, verse 5, illustrates that wisdom and understanding are not static but are marked by an ongoing pursuit of knowledge and wise counsel, showing that growth is a continual journey. A wise man will hear means to listening actively, and will increase learning, rather than relying solely on what they already know. Wise individuals continue to seek to expand their understanding. And a man of understanding shall attain unto wise counsels suggests that those who already possess insight will seek guidance and advice from other wise individuals. To understand a proverb, and the interpretation, the words of the wise, and their dark sayings. To understand a proverb means gaining insight not only into simple truths but also into deeper teachings that aren't immediately apparent. Proverbs often carry layers of meaning, and to truly understand them requires more than a surface reading. Interpretation is to understand the intent and significance behind Proverbs. The words of the wise are the teachings of those who have cultivated spiritual or practical wisdom. Dark sayings are thoughts or expressions that are initially difficult to understand. They may be symbolic, mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand, requiring deeper contemplation to reveal their wisdom. These are not dark in a sinister sense, but rather, they are deep or hidden insights, often carrying profound truths that require effort, patience, and careful thought to grasp. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Overall, this verse suggests that obtaining true knowledge starts with a deep respect and reverence for God. Reverence for God is the starting point for all genuine understanding, and those who refuse it miss the very foundation of wisdom. In contrast, rejecting wise guidance can lead to foolishness and prevent personal growth and learning. Let's break this verse down further. The fear of the Lord, in this context, fear doesn't mean being scared or frightened. It refers to a profound respect, reverence, and awe for God. It acknowledges God's greatness, authority, and holiness. God is the ultimate source of wisdom and understanding. His power and guidance should be respected. Is the beginning of knowledge. This phrase means that true understanding starts with a relationship with God and respect for divine wisdom. Knowledge, in the biblical sense, goes beyond factual information. It encompasses insight into life's deeper truths, the principles for righteous living, and understanding of the human condition. When one recognizes and honors God in this way, it becomes the foundation for all other learning and wisdom, aligning one's mind and heart to receive true understanding. But fools despise wisdom and instruction. A fool isn't just someone lacking intelligence, it's a person who disregards God's principles and refuses guidance. A fool is often someone who is self-centered, stubborn, and unwilling to learn or improve. Such people are seen as lacking humility and openness to instruction, which limits their growth and leads to poor choices. While the wise person values discipline and knowledge from God, the fool dismisses it, setting themselves on a path of self-reliance that ultimately leads away from true wisdom. My son, hear the instruction of thy father, and forsake not the law of thy mother, for they shall be an ornament of grace unto thy head, and chains about thy neck. In essence, these verses encourage embracing parental guidance. Wisdom often begins at home, with the nurturing and counsel of one's parents as a foundation for a righteous and discerning life. They speak to the value of parental guidance, urging respect and to uphold wisdom passed down by one's parents. It also reflects teachings that go beyond rules and extend to moral guidance, values, and life lessons. It also describes the blessings that come from heeding parental wisdom and moral instruction. Ornament of grace unto thy head and chains about thy neck are metaphors for the honor, beauty, and dignity that wisdom brings to a person's life. Just as jewelry adorns and enhances a person outwardly, so too does the wisdom of a parent enrich and beautify one's character and choices. That covers the first 9 verses of Proverbs 1. Please click the like button and subscribe to see more of our teaching as they are released. Before you go, take a moment to reflect on some of the material that we covered. Please comment with your answers in the comments section. In what ways do you continually pursue learning in your own life? What are some areas of learning that you would like to pursue? What can you do this week to increase your knowledge? Who do you consult for advice when making decisions? Are there areas in your life that you knowingly disregarded wise counsel? What were the consequences? What does fear of the Lord mean to you? How can you create a healthy reverence for God in your daily actions? What are some lessons that your parents taught you that have helped you later in life?